Okay, this is the Age Gap Podcast. I'm Abraham Delgado, and with me is always Steven Holman.
Hello.
We're going to start talking about probably nothing because we don't have anything to talk about today other than like what we're feeling and what we're thinking about. So, do you want to kick us off with something
Yep.
you're feeling?
Yep, I will. Got to find my phone first. Hi, I'm Steven. So in our last, by the way, what is it with your generation having gallons of water that you want to drink out of?
Dude, you know what, man? I don't even know. Like, it's funny because I have this. It's only just been a recent thing for me. It hasn't been something that like I do typically. It's not like a normal thing for me. I'll start with that. It's not a normal thing. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna like stay hydrated. A gallon of water is like visually I could see, how much I could, I need to have, that much more left, whatever. So, a lot of people, dude, health is wealth, man. We're in that day and age.
Yeah, and I do find myself having to fill up my my water bottle multiple times during the day.
I mean, this is sort of an interesting thing. Obviously your generation versus my generation of like how we take health serious in our lives, like organic foods, drinking lots of water, fitness, like I'm trying to think like for me, like, and honestly, it's even like the kind of crowds that I'm around. It's kind of like a hip thing to be healthy.
Right. Yeah.
And for you, you that's not.
I have multiple influences in my life, and so left to my own devices, I'd be going to Burger King every day.
Dude, Burger King is the grossest fast food chain, by the way. I always say it.
McDonald's and Burger King.
No, McDonald's is actually the best. Like that's literally what it like. McDonald's is Golden Arches. It's the standard. Yeah, it's like Nike and Apple. Like McDonald's, Starbucks. It's like literally on that.
Wendy's.
Wendy's?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
It's the best food.
I'm like, do you even eat Wendy's?
It's too expensive. No.
It's too Wendy's. You know what? McDonald's is kind of expensive now too. I was trying to explain that to some people a couple of years ago. Where I was like, McDonald's is not the cheap, food that you think it is anymore.
Yep. Yeah. If I go to McDonald's, I will get their $1 specials, whatever they are. So, although their $1 specials have turned into $1.50 specials.
Yeah.
They're those
$1 million. What is that menu? Someone was like the dollar menu millionaire. I remember that was like a YouTube video that was like popping for a little while. But that. So you go to Burger King though. For what? Like just get Whoppers?
I'm a cheap bastard. Okay, I look out for the deals, the specials. So right now Burger King has 2 sandwiches, like a chicken sandwich and a big fish, and there's something else, but those are the only 2 I care about for $5.
That's a solid deal. I mean, listen, I used to go to Carl's Jr. and get the spicy chickens, which were $1, which is like $1.07.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I think they're still that. I hope they are because it would suck if they raised the prices on those because those got me through a lot of tough times.
So Carl's Jr. is only in the West. You know that.
That's right. On the East, it's called Hardee's.
Oh, well, yeah, but Hardee's is gone too. I mean, yes, it used to be. Carl's Jr. and Hardee's did merge at one point.
Okay.
And I thought they just changed all of the Hardee's to Carl Jr.'s.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know though. Like that, I remember being told that years ago. Like when I was like younger, they'd be like, "Oh, that's Carl's Jr.'s over here, and then Hardee's is over there," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
They don't have Hardee's anymore. There are a few. There are a few around, but
So what's over there? Like, is there another thing?
no.
Or is it, I mean, we don't have
McDonald's.
White Castle. Like, we don't have White Castle.
White Castle's really not in the Northeast. That's kind of a Midwest thing.
Okay.
But no, I'm trying to think what would be unique to the East Coast. And
Wait, where's New Brunswick?
that's in Canada,
Okay.
but it's
Because,
on the East Coast.
okay, because do you know the movie Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle? Do you know that movie?
Yeah,
Like
I've never
that?
seen it, but I do know it.
Yeah. Like there's like they're driving like to a White Castle. Like that's their whole thing. And like at one part of the movie, like they see the sign. It's like welcome to New Brunswick, and they're like, hello, New Brunswick. And like that's always stuck in my mind. I'm like, I don't even know where New Brunswick is. I'm assuming it's over there, like upper
It's
east
in
coast.
Canada.
Yeah.
Although there's a Brunswick, New Jersey. I don't know if there's a New Brunswick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was New Brunswick. I'm pretty sure.
That's in Canada. I'm convinced of it. But so what did I want to say? Oh, what do we have for unique restaurants back there?
No, this is what I want to know. Your health. Your health is wealth, and you eat like dog shit. It's clear. Every single person watching this now knows.
No. I said left to my own devices, I would eat like shit.
Okay.
Okay, but I have been taught that I'm pre-diabetic, so I have to cut out the sugars.
Okay, so
Can you see this?
yeah, that's like is that like a Reese's golden wrapper? Dude, I got a fucking eye for that one. All right, and that's like one of my favorite. I love those.
I know. I again, bargain shopping. I was at CVS, and there were 2 big bags of them for $4. I said, I can't,
You can't resist?
I couldn't resist.
Wow, you're an animal, dude. So I've been eating more candy lately, actually. I wasn't like big on candy back in the day, but like I actually sour stuff. I was like really into like sour gummy worms.
That's what I love. My middle daughter Madison loves sour candy, and I
Yeah.
get to it.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point now where if I have more than a couple of handfuls, it makes the inside of my mouth just raw.
Mmm.
It tears it apart. So I don't. But I do. But the thing is, I like the fruity candies. So I like Starburst. I like Skittles. I like Mike and Ike's. I don't eat much chocolate except for I saw this Reese's thing and I was like, I've got to have this.
No, yeah, Reese's peanut butter cups. It's first one. I call it Reese's, even though I know people have a problem with that. I don't care.
I can't hear the difference. You got to understand. I have a hearing loss. I'd probably say the same thing.
Okay. I'm like, yeah,
know.
it's Reese's. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
No, I don't have a clue.
Okay, well, it's like someone who's just like, yeah, dude, black and white, color television, same fucking thing to me. It's like,
what? Are you colorblind?
no. But like that, like to me, like Reese's, saying Reese's and Reese's, those are 2 different things.
Okay, wait. Reese's I've never heard of. Reese's is what it's called.
Yeah, Reese's, like Reese's, and I call it like Reese's Pieces. Like Reese's Pieces, but it's like Reese's Pieces.
No. That's wrong.
That's how I feel.
You're saying it the right way.
Reese's. It's Reese's. Thank you.
Yes.
Exactly. So I have confirmation in my life. I can move on beyond that.
From the old
this is a thing that I'm really curious about now because again, the health kick is pretty hip with younger generations now. Run clubs, shopping at like cool hip supermarkets like Erewhon, and like Whole Foods has their Whole Foods 365, which is a younger, marketed grocery store. Things like that, where it's like, oh, okay, like I feel like it's cute, like, and honestly, it's like the prettier people are shopping there, like the, cooler, like influencer type of people are there at these places. It feels cool to be in the health club. So there's a lot of that going on.
I go to the gym 5 days a week.
That's it. That's the extent of your like health care for yourself.
No, I don't eat bread anymore because I know it's terrible for me.
Okay.
I love bread. Good.
I love bread. I fucking love bread.
My generation, my mom was just the laziest cook in the world. So I grew up on Wonder Bread, which is just, to my taste palate now, it's just awful.
Dude, I used to love Wonder Bread too. I mean, same thing. My mom, we would go, they had like the discount groceries stores, like that type of stuff.
Yep.
Like my mom would go and like buy the bread there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my mom didn't, I don't know if she didn't know, but for mayonnaise in our house, it was Miracle Whip, which is not mayonnaise. But I didn't know that at the time.
I mean, I'm not 100% convinced that it's not. That's where I'm at still in my life.
You've got to be kidding.
Like, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm like Miracle Whip. I'm like, that's mayo.
No, it's not. It's like got a ton of sugar. It's really sweet tasting. Whereas mayonnaise has no sweetness to it.
Is Miracle Whip like the out of the can?
No, that's whipped cream.
Okay, well, so like Miracle Whip is not whipped cream.
No, Miracle Whip is.
It's in the tub, right? Isn't it in the blue? It's like white with like the blue. It says Miracle Whip.
It's in the same kind of container that you would find mayonnaise in.
Yes.
And yes, it's white, but it's salad dressing. It's not mayonnaise.
Like this, I'm looking at this right now. That looks like mayo.
It does look like mayo, but it's Miracle Whip.
So what's the difference?
Well, have you ever had mayonnaise? Let's start there.
I mean, I have, but I can't. I'm not like sure I know what I'm tasting. I know what I'm tasting when I'm tasting ketchup. I know what I'm tasting when I have mustard. Mayo. I'm not 100% sure what I'm tasting.
Okay, so let me ask you this: is there a difference between yellow mustard and gluten?
Dude, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I know like there's deli mustard, and then there's like
right.
French's.
Right, exactly. French's is yellow mustard.
Yes.
And then you have deli mustard.
Yes. Is Miracle Whip the deli mustard of mayo?
No. Mayo.
You're just like it's just not. It's something completely different.
Yeah, it's people use it. They put different flavors in the Miracle Whip, and they use it as a salad dressing because it's sweet. Okay, so next week when we get together, I want you to have had a taste test between Hellman's mayonnaise and Miracle Whip.
Hellman's? Why not Best Food?
Okay. Just
I'm wondering what your preference is, because most people I feel like do Best Food, right?
I've never heard of that brand.
Let me see. I'm pretty sure it's Best Food. Oh, I think or is it under? I think it's the same. Because I'm looking at it. It's saying Best Foods, and then the next one right here is saying.
The packaging looks exactly like Hellman's. You want to know how I know that? Literally 5 minutes before we were supposed to get on. I had some shaved beef that I cooked up, and I was putting mayonnaise on it, and I noticed the mayonnaise I bought was Best Foods. But I thought I bought Hellman's. It's the exact same. It looks exactly the same.
And that's, okay, this is what it's saying. It's saying Hellman's and Best Foods. It says, depending upon which side of the country you live on, that's where you'll find.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're the same one, though.
They're the same company?
They're the exact same brand.
I had no idea. I thought Best Food was a knockoff of Hellman's.
So this is kind of a trip. Because I was like, why is it the same packaging? I was like, oh. Maybe, but yeah, I mean, I would see, I don't know, whatever, Hellman's. I guess it's the same thing then. I'm just like
those two
caught
you
on
want
this.
to try, you have to have a taste test between the two of them.
Between Hellman's and some Miracle Whip.
Yep.
Dude, that just sounds gross. Even thinking about that, that sounds gross. Like mayonnaise sounds gross to me. Even though I know it's not gross, I just had a sandwich at my mom's place. You know, we're like building the sandwiches up. I put some mayo on the bread, and it tasted great. But the thought of tasting mayonnaise by itself sounds gross.
Okay.
You know what I mean, though? Does that not sound gross to you?
Sit down and get a spoonful of each. In my mind's eye, I was thinking that's what you might do.
Just like a spoon of mayo.
No. I don't want you to do that. Have a.
That sounds like a YouTube challenge. Like, today I'm gonna try a spoonful of mayo, and it's like, dude, that's it.
You know what mayo is made out of?
Dude, so I was just talking to my family about that. I thought for some reason it was like milk. I thought it was like butter.
Eggs.
It's like olive oil and eggs and butter and salt, I think. Is that what it is? I don't know if the butter is a part of it.
I just know that it's predominantly raw eggs, whipped really fine.
Yeah, okay. So I thought it was like a dairy thing. I thought it was milk. Like I thought it was like something to do with that.
I don't think it is.
No. But I was eating on Saturday with my family and my aunt who cooks like everything. Like she is like a phenomenal chef, you know. She was like, "Oh, I make my own mayo. I don't even go to the store."
Wow.
And then I was just like, how do you do that? Were you like churning butter or something like that? You know, because in my mind, again, I thought it was with milk, and she was like, no, like with these ingredients. And I was just like, all right.
So health. Let's get back to health.
Yeah.
I do try to eat healthy. I try to have protein, but you know, I used to drink fruity drinks. Like I used to have the Minute Maid watermelon or lemonade or whatever it was.
Like Simply Lemonade type of thing?
Yeah.
Like Minute Maid?
Yeah, Simply Lemonade, same thing.
Same thing.
But then someone told me to look up the grams of sugar in it. And I did.
Yeah, I've been very anti-sugar lately. Like over the last couple years.
I've tried to take sugar out of my diet, but I need to have some. I have to reward myself. I just don't indulge.
Okay, I don't like sugars in my food. Like this bowl of, you know, Thai food or something like that has like sugars in it from like a bunch of like a sauces or whatever. I'm not into that. I'd rather have a pretty like not bland or plain in the sense of like what it tastes like, but of like a lack of sugars in the ingredients of the foods.
Yep.
And then I'll have something sweet outside of that. Right. That'll be my, like, that's where I get my sugar. That's where I'll get sugar or sweetness from.
My problem is that I like noodles, I like rice, I like bread. Those are starches, and they all turn to sugar inside my body.
Yeah, I mean, I love rice. I mean, do I love rice? Rice is good. Rice is really good. I like noodles too. But if a doctor was like, hey, you can't have rice or noodles anymore, like for the rest of your life, I'd be like, all right, that's fine.
You could do that. I could do that too.
You know what's something that I thought I used to say this all the time. And I'll say it now, and it was never on record, like anywhere, but I'll say this on record now. I used to say, like, if my doctor ever told me I couldn't have peanut butter, like I came up with like a peanut allergy out of nowhere, like just murder me. Just literally take me out. Just fucking blow my brains out right there.
What do you put peanut butter on?
I literally will just have scoops of it. I'll just have a fucking spoonful of peanut butter because it's that good. I love it that much. That being said, all of a sudden, like the last couple of years, I used to have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all the time. Like that was like my go-to snack. It was just so good. It was just like the best, perfect peanut butter jelly. I would put peanut butter like thickly applied on both pieces of bread, and then jelly, not too much, but decent amount on only one. The ratio was perfect on some nice thick white bread, never wheat. Wheat is it's shit bread. I don't know why people like grains. It's disgusting. Anyways, do that, and then just, kind of like do the halvesies fold with a napkin, and you just take a bite out of it, dude. Take a bite out of it, Steven. That was my go-to. That was my go-to snack. With a glass of milk, dude, I was fucking America right there, dude. I was an American snack.
It is, without a doubt. My youngest daughter eats peanut butter all the time because it's really healthy for you.
I don't know about that. This is right. Over the last couple of years, I just found myself organically not eating peanut butter. Like I was just like, I just wasn't craving peanut butter and jellies that much. And then when I would have peanut butter, it started to taste a lot sweeter than it used to. That's how, all of a sudden in my body, I was like, oh, this peanut butter is like a lot sweeter than I want the peanut butter to be. And so little by little, I've stopped eating peanut butter as much. Even when I get like a protein shake somewhere, at like some juice shop or whatever, I'll have them substitute almond butter in instead of peanut butter.
Almond butter is fantastic. That is out of this world.
It's good. I mean, it's a little. I like peanut butter like by itself more than I like almond butter by itself, but I like the almond butter in things. So.
Okay, so Mr. Health Food Guy, what kind of peanut butter did you eat?
Skippy natural.
Okay.
Creamy. Not chunky.
That's not nearly as good as going to Whole Foods and getting the.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. Actually, thank you for bringing that up. There is a really, really good peanut butter by this company called, I think it's Santa Rosa, I think is the name of the brand, or Santa Clara or something. It's something, one of those. But their peanut butter, their creamy peanut butter, the ones where like you have to churn it before because the layer.
The oil comes up, yep.
Yeah, exactly. That was also one of the first times I'd experienced that because I started to do a little R&D of like peanut butter when I was like, I was starting out on a venture of, I was gonna open up a little peanut butter and jelly shop, like a food cart stand, and I was just gonna make peanut butter and jellies. And I was like, okay, I want to get like what I believe is the best peanut butter, like with like the best bread, and not like the most expensive, but just like what's the best in this range right here. So I was doing a little R&D, and this was like my first foray of being like, dude, like why is the oil on top? Like this is gross, like all that stuff. But I learned, I mix it in, blah blah blah. And that is actually the best. That might be my favorite peanut butter, is that brand specifically. And you can't find that at like, I don't think you can find that at like a Ralph's or a Vaughn's or whatever. You have to go to like a Whole Foods or like a Mother's.
Right. So what's that, Mother's?
Yeah, Mother's.
What's Mother's?
Mother's is a grocery store. I believe it's just like Southern California. I don't know if it's in other places. This is what I heard, and this is what like first brought me to it, was that I think it was predominantly they would hire a lot of mothers. Like they would hire a lot of, yeah, that's what I had heard. I don't know how much of that is true, but I had heard it was like, and maybe even with like single mothers, it was like something like to the where I was like, dude, that's really dope. I'm 100% on board with like supporting that. And now that I'm saying that out loud, I don't think it was specifically single mothers, and I don't even know if the mothers things is that true as I'm like saying it. And I'm kind of conflating it with this other. There's this cafe actually out in the Orange Circle that they would actually hire a lot of mothers. I remember like seeing that. It was a lot of like it was like mostly a matriarchy like in that restaurant, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I'm like when that is presented to me, I'm like, that's cool. Like I'm here to support that. But it's like a Whole Foods vibe. It's a little more expensive, but everything there is like you just feel like you're healthier just walking through the door.
Have you ever gone to Whole Foods and seen their cookies?
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Hell yeah.
Are those great?
I've never like gotten a bunch. I think I've gotten like one or two, and they were good. But it's every time I see them though, I'm just like, dude, like I want a lot of these.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been known to buy a package of them and eat 3 or 4 at a sitting. I'm just like, oh my God, what am I doing? I mean, those things have so much butter in them, it's not even funny.
So you're pre-diabetic. Like, did this happen like recently in your life, or were you like, no, man, all my life I've been like this? Like, I was just, like, was it my father, before he passed, he was like, he had diabetes for years, but it was because he drank. So it wasn't like something that was like, oh, like he had it when he was a kid, whatever, insulin. It was like, no, like this was completely his own fault, like he had like the worst diet ever with that. What was that for you?
That's type 2 diabetes.
I don't know what that means, actually. I literally don't know any of the diabetes stuff.
Okay, so I don't know that much, but my understanding is if you have type 1 diabetes, it's hereditary. It's within your system. You don't have control over it. Type 2, you've eaten and drank like crap, and it has led to diabetes.
Okay. Is that what they say, the onset diabetes? Is that what they, is that the wordage?
Might be diabetes too. I don't know.
I don't know. I, as you could tell, I didn't say that very confidently, so yeah, I didn't feel very confident about that one. I think the thing that I'm worried about for my own health is one, physicality, body deterioration. Like I've seen a number of people as they're getting older, they're just like, dude, my back, my knees, all this stuff is going out. And that's one of the big things that I'm like, I have lower back issues already, and I've had it for a few years now. And that's something that I'm like, I can't even, like, I'm hoping that there is some real work that I can do to like rehabilitate that for myself, because I would like to think that this could just get worse for the rest of my life. Like, I'm like, that, I don't even know how I would be able to function. Do you have anything like that? Like where you're like, oh, like knee problems, shoulder, this and that?
No, I don't have any wood here to knock on, but no, I don't have anything. We were talking yesterday. I do have, and it's never been diagnosed as arthritis, but I've got some issues in one of my knees. But part of it was I tore it up when I was
playing hockey.
Yeah, playing hockey.
Okay.
And it didn't really affect me then. I mean, I had to have 3 layers of stitches because when I looked at it, I was sitting there looking at my kneecap,
Mm-hmm.
when I cut it open. But it's never been. It's not bad. But when I try to run and I put a lot of strain on it over and over and over, not good.
What's and like obviously like straining your knee like that is, I mean, like you're like, I don't walk funny or anything like that. You just feel it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was in a hockey game, and I went one direction and my skates went the other direction and I went down. But I was going really fast and I was sliding on the ice towards the boards.
Mm-hmm.
And to protect myself, I put my knees up to hit the boards first. And it's like, wow, did that hurt? But I finished my shift. And then I went and sat on the bench waiting for my next shift. It was painful, but it wasn't going to keep me off the ice.
Wow,
And
Michael Jordan flu game. That was you.
Then I stood up to go out for my next shift. And in hockey, most of the times you climb over the boards. You don't use the door that often because you got people coming in, and it's just easier to go.
It's fast, yeah.
And I stood up, and I was getting ready, and if you know hockey, they wear socks, right, over their shin pads.
Uh-huh.
So on their lower legs, you have hockey socks. I was wearing white socks that night, and I stood up, and my coach was standing on the bench behind me, and he called me by my nickname. Have I revealed that here? No, I'm not going to.
I was literally about to say it.
No. Did I reveal it?
Well, because I have a shirt that you were like, hey, that was my nickname.
Okay. But I haven't, you know it, but I haven't revealed it here.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, my coach called me by my nickname. He said, sit down and look at your knee. I said, I got to get out there. He goes, no, sit down. And he tells someone else to go out for my shift. And so I undo in hockey you have garter belts, literally garter belts that hold up the socks. So I reach under my hockey pants, I undo that, I pull down the pants, and then I pull back the shin pad, and then I see all this blood. And then I looked at my knee, and it was split wide open. And this was in Cheshire, Connecticut. So I ended up going to Yale Medical Center.
Damn. Was it nice?
Yeah. It was, they sewed me up pretty well.
Okay, yeah. I feel like it's like if you go to like UCLA Medical here, like it's like, it's nice.
No, it was very nice. And there weren't many people there, so in the emergency room, they took me pretty quick. And they wanted to cut all my equipment off. I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah.
I said, don't cut it. I'll take it off.
What's the best shape you've ever been in your life?
Probably my 3 years of high school, because I played hockey in which when I was on the high school team, we had 5 a.m. practices Monday through Friday. And so you're out there, and have you ever seen Miracle? The movie?
Dude, it's so funny. When we were, I don't know, I think when we were talking earlier before we even recorded, in my mind I was like, well, Miracle happened in like the 80s, right?
1980.
And I was like, obviously, like he played hockey, like that was probably a big deal for him. I feel like
it was huge. I get goosebumps right now, even as we're speaking.
Tonight we skate with them. Or what is it? What's the line? What does it say? Something like that? Yeah,
Send them?
He's like, tonight we skate with.
Oh, tonight we skate with them. Yep.
Yeah. My buddy Patrick fucking loves that movie. He was Ohio bred, hockey player, fucking like that's his life type of shit. And like he would just like he'd always say that line. This one's for you, Patrick.
So have you seen the movie though?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, well, there's this.
It's on Disney Plus. It's a Disney movie, isn't it?
Well, it is a Disney movie, yeah.
I'll watch it. I
Um,
mean, it's one of those movies where I'm always like, oh, I'll get to that eventually. But I never saw it because it was just, to me, it seemed like this, like, it was like, it's not Remember the Titans. Like, that's how I thought. I was like, Remember the Titans is a great movie. So.
it is. So is Miracle.
I'll have to watch it. I'll let you know. Maybe it's dog shit. What if it's like a terrible movie? When's the last time you watched it?
Within the last 3 months.
What the fuck, dude? How often do you watch this movie?
I watch it all the time.
Because you're like, this is great. This is just, oh, dude, this is epic.
You know what? The movie is.
You're just like, F those Ruskies, dude. You're just like.
pretty good. But the real life, I tell you what we're going through right now as a nation with inflation and high gas prices and all the other stuff, we went through the exact same thing from 1976 to 1980.
Okay.
There was a president named Jimmy Carter who just didn't have a clue. He didn't know what he was doing. He was the nicest guy in the world. He just didn't have a clue.
That's what I hear. I've heard that before too.
And I got to tell you, I heard it today on the news. Joe Biden is getting really upset because people are comparing him to Carter.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We talked about this. I haven't been paying attention to the news, so that's really interesting. I could totally see that though. I remember growing up, and then they're like, "Oh, these are all the presidents that are alive," and then I remember like legitimately, I'd be like, "Oh, Jimmy Carter," and I was like, "Why do I feel like I don't know anything about that guy?" Like, I'm like, was he impactful? Like, was he just like a boring dude? Like, I legitimately would think that, and then I was just like, and I would just keep it moving. I'd just be like, all right, I guess he's not Clinton. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, I'm just like, he's like, that.
No one wants to talk about him. But anyway, so we were just down as a nation, and it was also the Cold War, so we were afraid that Russia was going to nuke us, and if they did, we were going to nuke them, and the whole world would blow up. And the Russians at the Olympics, at least in hockey, they had our number every single time. They always beat the crap out of us. And at the time, we were sending real amateurs to the Olympics. Okay, we were not sending any pros. And the Russians, they didn't have any pro leagues, so they could claim that their best players were amateurs, but these guys were they were big, they were fast, and they were the best in the country of Russia, in the USSR.
So what age are you at when this is happening? Are you like college, high school? What's your
sophomore in high school?
Oh, okay. So that's a prime, and you're playing hockey. Like hockey is your life.
Yeah.
So this is you're like, this is like crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. And so, the night before the Olympics start. So the Olympics are in upstate New York. The night before the Olympics start, the U.S. team, which is all college kids, all kids who played hockey in college. Mm-hmm. That's it. No minor leaguers or anything. Just all these kids from college, and it was made up. College hockey at the time was either Minnesota or Boston. Boston had BU, they had BC, they had Northeastern. Who am I missing? BC, BU, Northeastern. There's another. Oh, Harvard. Harvard always had a really good team. And Minnesota had University of Minnesota, Minnesota Duluth. And so 80% of the players on the team came from either one of those. But they hated each other. And so they had to mesh, and that's what the movie's all about, is them coming together. It's a feel-good movie.
Dude, anyway. It sounds like it. I mean, listen, I'm a Remember the Titans guy, like that's
I love that movie. I watch that all the time too.
Yeah.
In fact, I've probably watched Remember the Titans more times than I've watched Miracle.
I've seen Remember the Titans like maybe 5 times though. I'm not going to give it too much
You
credit.
want to know why I like that movie? I mean, I love the story. I love the cast. But what I really love about it is the music.
Remember the Titans music?
Yeah, I love
when the white guys are showing the black guys music and they're like, you gotta love this, right?
Yep,
And they're like, this trash.
Yeah, because the white guys liked country. You know, and country back then was, you know, my girl left me, my dog died, and you know, my truck broke down, kind of songs.
Was it? I'm trying to think. Like that was like what, like in the 50s? I'm trying to think like when Glenn Campbell.
Glenn Campbell. I am a lineman for the county.
I love that song. What a great song.
Oh, that's one of my favorite songs. You know, Glenn Campbell is considered one of the 5 best guitarists ever.
What?
Yep.
By who?
So there's a YouTube video I want you to look up. A guy named Craig Kilborn. Have you ever seen, what's that movie where the guys go back to college and they have a fraternity?
Old School.
Yes, you've seen it, right?
By the way, I don't want to segue out of this because I like where you're going, but Old School is one of my favorite movies ever. I reference it so much, it's crazy.
I totally forgot why I brought it up, though. What were we talking about?
Old guys go back to college.
Go back further.
Hockey. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Shit. What were we literally just talking about? Dude, who would have thought, dude? Someone just fucking Men in Blacked us right now? They just fucking brainwiped us? Just... What were you talking about?
Oh my God!
Country music.
Oh, country music.
Yeah. Back then, Glenn Campbell.
Oh, okay. Now I'm back. So I want you to go find this YouTube video.
Yes, he is a great guitarist.
Yes. There's a guy named Craig Kilborn. He had a late night show. Okay, but he's also in the movie Old School. Remember the girl that he likes? What's the guy's name?
Yeah. Her boyfriend.
Yes, her boyfriend. That's Craig Kilborn.
Wow.
So anyway, go look up Craig Kilborn and Glenn Campbell.
Okay.
And Kilborn has all of this information about. Glenn Campbell was a studio musician, and he played on almost every Elvis song there ever was.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And Beach Boys, he was one of the primary guitarists for the Beach Boys in the studio. And he was just an awesome guitarist, apparently.
Wow, I really am like very curious about this then.
So yeah, write it down. Craig Kilborn, Glenn Campbell, and Glenn's there, and Glenn died. He recently. So you know he's a country guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know who? For his last 10 years, he was living in Arizona with dementia, but he was still very physically, around. You know who he used to play golf with every single day?
Hmm.
Have you ever heard of Alice Cooper?
Oh, really? Yeah, Alice Cooper is big on golf. I remember hearing that.
So Alice Cooper is this guy who wore all this makeup and he bit the head off of a snake in a day, and I mean he was the Marilyn Manson of his
yeah, that's so wild.
And Glenn Campbell was this clean cut guy from the Midwest who wore a cowboy, and they were best of friends for Glenn Campbell's last 10 years. They played golf every single day.
Dang. You know what's funny? Alice Cooper was sort of, I remember like, because by the time like I'm like old enough to be like like interacting with pop culture, and like it's like Alice Cooper at that point is just like a legend. You know, it's like, oh, like Alice Cooper. It's like when you like go to a football game, they're playing Metallica. It's like there was a certain point where that was like playing in a teenager's bedroom, and the parents are like, what is this devil music? And now they're like, it's like you play that. If you're playing that in a store, kids are like, this is boomer music. Like, what the hell is this? You know? So it's like, that is kind of like Alice Cooper for me at that point. I was just like, oh, that's like, you know, that's boomer culture or whatever, you know?
Yeah, there was only one song of Alice Cooper's that I ever knew, and it's because they played it on the last day of school every year.
Oh, yeah!
School's out. School's out for summer.
Yep, yeah.
That was Alice Cooper.
I remember some kids would sing that song at the end of like every Friday, and like in a class, and like the teacher would just get pissed because it was like, you know, it's not summer yet, you know. So like that was the joke, was like the kids would just be like.
There was another song. Who was it? Was it Bon Jovi? I don't know who it was, but they used to play it every Friday on Kiss 108 at 5 o'clock. And the song was Working for the Weekend.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one?
I got to get it in my head. I can't find it.
Who's it by?
I have to look.
It's called Working
for the Weekend.
Is it that one song? Everybody's working for the weekend. Dude, I literally, that's like one of the big songs that I like sing out loud all the time to myself. It's just like stuck in my head.
Everybody's looking for a new romance.
Loverboy.
There you go. Yes, Loverboy. Yeah. That's right.
I love that. I thank you. That just reminded me to like that song and keep it in my library. So perfect.
So anyways, so school's out for summer, and every Friday on Kiss 108, which is, you know, it was 107.9 because it doesn't go up. The megahertz don't actually go up to 108.
Yeah.
But they were Kiss 108, and you know, it was a top 40s pop kind of radio station, and I can almost remember the DJ's name. I can't though. But every Friday, 5 o'clock, you're getting out of work.
That was the jam.
Everyone, yeah, that just, and it's such an uplifting song.
I don't know what it is about that song. It really makes, but it is the sort of like.
There's a Bon Jovi song that's like that for me. It's dun dun. Do you know Bon Jovi at all?
Bon Jovi. He started coming out with some music. I remember when I was in like 8th grade, probably. Like he came out with music that I was like, this is like super like whatever. Like it was like old guy rock music to me. Dude, I'm trying to remember what there was like. It was like, I remember because it was on VH1, and at the time VH1 was already starting to like play music that was.
No,
like
VH1 was geared towards older music.
So that's what I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, this is not fresh. You know, this is like, oh, what is this song called, dude? Have a Nice Day. I remember that was.
Yeah, I know that song. It's not the one I was thinking of, though.
Yeah, it came out in 2005. So that's exactly, 2005, I'm in 7th, 8th grade. It's literally the timeline. I remember just being like, dude, this is I was like, have a nice day. And I was just like, bro, this is the wackest shit ever.
Hold on.
Kitchen sorted.
I got it. I'm on Spotify. I got to get through the ad. I'm cheap. I don't pay for it.
That's funny.
Enjoy the 30 minutes of uninterrupted listening.
Here we go.
Good evening, everybody. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, I know that. I know that song. What's that? What is that? What is that? What is it though? Hold on.
I got my first real victory.
Yes.
That's,
I love that song.
no, but that's not Bon Jovi. That's Bryan Adams.
Oh, it is Bryan Adams. You're right. You're right.
Living on a prayer, and it's not living on a prayer. Okay, I don't get. Oh, I don't know how to use Spotify. Oh, but wait, I'll get it
No,
on.
Brian. I prefer Bryan Adams way more over Bon Jovi, dude. Living on a Prayer.
Yeah, you know the song.
Hey, living on a prayer. That's like somebody was like, oh, that's like one of the best songs of whatever that era, the 80s or whatever it was. When did it come out?
Can you hear it?
Yes.
That is a song that every time I hear it, it makes me want to stand up and.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, go get 'em.
That is hilarious, dude.
Tell me this: Are you in tune with the Rolling Stones at all, or
I like the Rolling Stones.
what about the Who?
The Who. I like that music. It's good music. This is something I've talked to Kevin from our group about, where I'm like, I like that music a lot. Not a lot of it is, I can't name a lot of songs, but I could hear and be like, oh, I know that song. I like that song. Oh, I know that. Oh, I recognize that album cover.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Jim Morrison and, In the Window. Great. There's Pink Floyd. There's the Guy on Fire. There's all that stuff, like Zeppelin with the Zephyr. Like, I'm like, that's sick. Like, I'm into that.
Yeah, well, Led Zeppelin was. They weren't really what we thought they were. So.
What do you mean by that?
Well, first of all, do you know what this thing is?
Oh, no, I don't know, but I like that album.
Oh, you do? That's the Beatles.
Yeah.
This is called an 8-track cassette.
Oh, that's what they look like. I've never seen them.
Yep, that's. And then.
I mean, like, I know of them, but I've never seen them in person.
So this, I want to just show you, and these are cassettes. These are cassettes that came.
I had cassettes already when I was a kid. People were still doing the crossover from cassette to.
So I'm trying to
CDs.
see if I can do this. Okay, so can you see that stack?
Yeah, I can see her. Yeah, I can see
Those
that.
are LPs. Those are albums.
Do you still buy vinyls?
No, this is left over from my sister's collection.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, you know Elton John, right?
Absolutely.
This is an Elton John album from 1975. Elton John has been around since 1975.
Dude, that's like.
Okay.
Think about that. That's wild.
So, can you see this one?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Earth, Wind, and Fire is probably my favorite group ever.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was like obsessed with the song September growing up.
My middle daughter, she told me, she said, the only thing I know about my wedding is that I'm going to play September at my wedding.
That's for you. That's going to be the father-daughter dance.
Well, oh man, I have right over here, I've got maybe 10 pins, right? You know how you take pictures and you turn them into a pen?
Yeah.
So I've got 10 of them over there of me with different daughters at different ages at the daddy-daughter dance on Valentine's Day every year.
That's so cute.
Yeah. I won't take us over there. It's right over by where those albums are.
Wow.
But
I need to convince my mom to do something like that with me.
Oh, so my oldest one, when she was really young, it's not fair to say this about their mom. Their mom used to go out a lot on the weekends, and it was just Sydney and I, and I would just crank the music. I would crank, what's London Calling? Who's that?
London Calling? That's the name of the song?
Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds familiar, though.
But the Clash I would play. I just played all of this 80s music. And she can't help but love 80s music now because I forced it on her. And she heard it all the time.
Yeah, my mom was very big on that with certain pop music. So my dad would play me sort of the Earth, Wind and Fire. You could say he would play me more of the R&B, more of the black music that a lot of like the people that he grew up with would like. It was that. It was like, all right, dude, like this is like, dope dancing music, stuff that you can groove with, this and that. And my mom was like Madonna head, like that was like her jam, like 100%. So like everything like in that path was her. Depeche Mode, Duran Duran, like that was my mom all the way. And so that's what I got from her.
Your dad was 70s, your mom was 80s.
Yeah, and my dad was older than my mom, not by that much, but just that little bit of that difference, and made a difference of what type of music they were, listening to and interacting with.
Yeah, the difference between my sister and I in years is 6 years. Okay, the difference in the music that we grew up with is like night and day. Because and I'll tell you that stuff from the 80s, even though it was still original and a million times better than what you guys are listening to these days. I mean, the stuff today is just they're remaking yesterday's music.
I mean, by the way, that's
that to it.
Listen, everybody's remaking everything. 80s music, they're remaking tons of stuff. 70s, same thing. It's all regurgitation.
Yeah.
It's funny when you were saying how you're like, oh, when I listen to that one song, like that just gets me fired up.
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh, what is that for me today? And I'm like, it's definitely Kanye West. Like Kanye West is actually like the best musician alive. Like that's what it is. Sorry, dog. Sorry, I'm not sorry, dude. That's how I feel, okay? But that's what it. I'm like, yeah, like
that's
Kanye West is.
Why we're talking now?
But that's exactly what it. I'm like Kanye West is the best. Like I don't need to like. There's no. Like, you could try to debate other people's catalogs or whatever, but I'm just like, dude, like, it's not. It just doesn't do the same thing, dude. Like stadium status type of music, and then it's like also like it, and it's the range and the spectrum of like the type of music that he's pulling from and synthesizing into my ears, and I'm like, dude, like it's just that's it, dude. It's the best.
What do you think of Kanye today? Not his music, just the man.
Him as a person. I mean, when I think of him as a person, I think of him as a human being, like as a human being experiencing life in a way that it's like, okay, to be honest, I just go, dude, I can't even judge that guy. Like it's like one of those things where I remember explaining this to somebody. I was like just imagine you're like you, and then also one day I snap your fingers and like you're living in the same house as the Kardashians. Like, the Kardashians are your sister-in-laws, and like, you know, like when you go places, people are like fucking freaking out because you're in the room, and it's like, dude, I have no idea what that life is like. I have no idea what that would be like, and like what that would, and how that would affect and change me. And people like jumping over my backyard fence to take photos of me, and like constantly, I'm just like, fuck, dude, like I have to like go through the back door of like every place that I go to because I can't afford to like legitimately like go through just a normal hallway. But what I mean is like, I'm like, he's a human being experiencing things. It's like, yeah, like it's like, you know, God bless you, dude. Like, it's like, or just like, God be with you. Like, that's, you're experiencing something and you just need to figure it out.
I couldn't agree more. One of the things I give him a lot of credit for is he's doing it publicly. You know what I mean? He's not trying to hide whatever it is that he's going through.
Yeah, my feelings. It's an interesting thing, man. It's like it's kind of the same thing with like Will Smith. Will Smith is also a pretty good example of somebody who, it's like clearly you've had to wear a face for most of your life, and it got to a point where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I want to like, and not to say that like him slapping Chris Rock was like the true him, but it was obviously the pendulum swinging to another direction of him feeling like, he's like, dude, like, I feel like my life is constantly being like attacked or made fun of or whatever in some fashion. Like, whether you want to say like it's like, oh, like he wasn't actually offended, his wife has the pressure on him, whatever. It's like all of that is on the table for him, where it's like, dude, like, you're a human being, and then you're just like, you know what, man, like, I got to do some human being shit. Like, I can't just be I can't be doing celebrity shit. I got to be doing human being type of behavior. Like, I'm experiencing life in all of its multitude and all of its facets. Like, you can't just it's like, no, make sure like everything you do and your reactions are Vogue cover like ready. And it's like, I can't live like that. Like, that's not how human beings react. That's not how they move. You know, this isn't Marilyn Monroe, Frank Sinatra, you know, fucking like era. Like, you got to let people live. Like, this is weird.
No, I could not agree. I totally agree with what you just said about Will Smith. Having said that, he shouldn't have done what he did. And
yeah, no, I agree. I do agree.
Yes, he got to live his life authentically. It was just the wrong place and the wrong time to.
I'm like, yo, man, like, Will Smith lived his life in a way, I'm saying in that moment, right, where you're like, oh, that's his authentic self, like him slapping Chris Rock, like that was inappropriate timing. I'm like, if that was like a real place, like when Dave Chappelle got attacked by that guy, it didn't end well for that dude. That guy got fucked up. You know what I mean? Because it was like, no, like that's a real circumstance. Like, that's a true like response to a true response. Yeah. Where it's like Will Smith wasn't met with a true response in the sense of like, yo, man, like, you're lucky people here are also trying to like keep themselves like in a Vogue cover like behavior. It's like, you fuck around, you can find out, dog. Like, that's what it is. Like, that's the type of behavior where it's like, dude, like, you do some shit like that in in other types of like environments or whatever, like, you're gonna get fucked up. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. You're gonna get taken down. I don't care how big you are, there's gonna be someone bigger there who's gonna take you down.
That's it, dude. And that's my whole thing where I'm like, I understand it wasn't appropriate for him to do that. And especially that, and he wasn't met with real world reactions in that environment because that wasn't a real world. I mean, it's their world, and that's as real as it can be.
What you just said is it's not amazing, but it's I hadn't thought of the idea that nothing happened to him because he was in this fake plastic world when he did it. And you're 100% correct. No one was going to do anything to him because he's Will Smith. And
that's why they didn't pull him out to be like we know, like they know he's going to win the Oscar, but they're like no, like we have to keep him in the seat because we know that he's going to win the Oscar, even though we know it's not right.
Yeah, I wish they would have taken him out and then he won. I mean, that would have just.
And here's the other thing though too. I don't wish anything at this point. I'm also like I can't afford to like place my judgments because that's what it is. Like it's like man, I wish you would have done that to The Rock. You know, like you would have. You know, it's like I wish you would have done that. I wish you would have tried that on Dave Chappelle. Like you would have gone fucked up back. You know, it's like like when people have those types of reactions, it's like oh yeah, but it's like dude, like. I wish you didn't even do that. Like that's what I wish. I wish that didn't happen.
Right. Yep.
Because that's like we as human beings are like, dude, like I don't want another human being to suffer. Like I don't want you to feel so shitty and that you feel it's so necessary for you to do that. I don't want that to happen.
No, I don't want that for anyone either. But I also think that they've been lifted so high up on a pedestal that they don't have any repercussions for their actions ever.
And you know what's funny? It's with the age that we live in, because of social media, because of podcasts, conversations, like because of even the like cultural and world political division, a lot of people are seeking the real thread of life, like the common denominator, thread of that just connects everybody. That just like it's like, hey man, like let's keep it real. I don't care about your money. I don't care about your status. I don't care about these things. Like let's keep it real. So honestly, like the whole like Hollywood status has started to crumble a bit. Not even a bit, a lot of it, where people to the point are kind of like dude, like this isn't like, oh, they're untouchable. It's like, no, like they're clearly like, one, a lot of people don't care for these types of celebrities anymore.
But
two, when people do certain things like that, it's like, yo, like we don't fuck with you. Like I don't like you anymore. Like I'm not saying that I don't like Will Smith. I'm just like that idea where it's like, oh, people are cancelable. Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby got away with so many things for so long because people had that mindset of like these are untouchable people. These are literally like two powerful giants. They're too big to fail.
Yep.
And the people decided that's not true.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
And then honestly, that's where I'm at. I'm like, that's a great thing,
I think a lot of that is coming from your generation and the folks behind you.
And even though and this is my olive branch to older generations too, where I can see that there's a lot of like, dude, honestly, good. I'm glad we're being held accountable now because for the longest time we weren't, and it was shit. Like we knew it was bad, but we just kind of kept it going because even if someone's tried to step up and do something, they knew they weren't, it wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to have the other support from people. And so now there is this, like, I could see it from a lot of older generations where they're like, hey, man, like, it's time.
Yeah, you know, I will, it's really interesting because obviously people of my generation, we stargazed, right? But the thing is that the people, probably the biggest star when I was younger was Johnny Carson. You've heard of Johnny?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. I always watch Don Rickles on Johnny Carson. Like,
Yep.
that's like one of my favorite like things to go back on.
Yep, absolutely. I've seen that too. And watch Jonathan Winters on Johnny Carson also.
Okay.
Jonathan Winters made Carson fall out of his chair laughing. Rickles did too, but Jonathan Winters, and I'm totally going off on a tangent here. Jonathan Winters was the mentor for Robin Williams.
Ooh, now I was going to say, why does that name sound so familiar? Yes. Okay, yes. I know what you're talking about.
And another one you got to look up is Tim Conway someday. Anyways, so
I know of Tim Conway and Jonathan Winter. I don't know them well, but I know of them.
Tim Conway is hysterical. But again, it might just be my generation that likes that kind of
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
Johnny Carson was bigger than life, okay? And you always heard about his next contract. He was going to make $4 million a year, or whatever the case was. But you know what? Carson came out every single night, and he didn't flaunt it. He was just a normal guy who was funny, and he interviewed people.
Yes.
And he laughed at people just like we did. And he didn't, you know, he didn't come out with gaudy rings or you know, he was just somebody who was, and he was appreciative of what he had. You could tell. And he didn't want to say, hey, look at what I got, and you don't. And I think a lot of stars of today's world, they do that. They want, I mean, the Kardashians in my mind are the biggest example of it, where they're just saying, hey, look at how fabulous wealthy we are and how pretty we are. And I don't know, I just, that doesn't sit well with me.
But it doesn't sit well with you because, is there jealousy? Is that where it comes from?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know if it's jealousy.
There is some jealousy.
There's got to be some level of it, though.
Okay.
But again, I don't think it's proper. I don't think it's treating your fellow human beings well by flaunting.
You know, it's interesting because I feel like from the birth of like the Hollywood scene, like I'm talking about all the way back from like, you know, Chinese theater openings type of days where it's like the idea was like glitz and glamour. It was like big fur coats, like, you know, coming out of limousines. Like it's always been sold to us. Like the idea that like this is new is not new.
But you didn't see it 24/7. You saw it once in a while. There was a show called Entertainment Tonight. And that's when you started getting into stars' lives. And that was a half-hour show on after the news on Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was People Magazine on TV. And what they did is they lifted up these stars. They put them up there.
Who's I'm literally trying to find this guy's name. It was a presidential candidate who was caught cheating, and then it was like the first time like someone like paparazzi had like taken a photo, and like it was a big deal. This guy was like basically planning on some guy. What was his last name? Hart?
Gary Hart.
Gary Hart. That's what I was like. Is it Casey or Gary Hart? Yeah. Like that type of thing where it's like, oh, we're going from everybody knew JFK was sleeping around with people, but no one said anything, to, hey, no, we should like have a moral, you know, stand on this if people are doing something.
I don't think everyone knew JFK was sleeping around until he was dead.
Okay, maybe not everybody, but definitely it was like, oh, we know we're in Washington, we're with the press.
Absolutely.
You know, while he was alive, they're like, no, like we know, you know.
But they respected his privacy.
But that's what it was. We respect the privacy of the president. Let's keep it moving.
And Gary Hart was in line to win the Democratic nominee. He was absolutely going to win it.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And
they made a movie about him. The guy who plays Wolverine. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking. I can't think of his name.
I can't think of his name, but he plays him. And apparently it was a good movie. I haven't seen it, but I heard it was good.
It's funny because where they got the picture of him, where they caught him having his affair, was on a boat, and the name of the boat was Monkey Business.
Yeah. Oh, don't you just love irony?
Oh yeah, total.
What a Greek comedy tragedy. Like, it's just the drama.
But Bill Clinton got through it.
Bill Clinton was like beloved heavily, though.
He was Teflon.
It was just, dude. It was that. Let's wrap it up with that. I think this is good. Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of things that we're about to like head into with this topic. Because I'm into it. I'm into it, to be honest. I like, these are some of my favorite things to talk about. I think it's just started to build up. It was a nice.
Well, it's good to know you're a movie guy and you have some decent taste in music. So I do want to come back and talk about Kanye more sometime.
Oh yeah, definitely that. That'll be more mental health. That'll be a part of it.
Well, yeah, no, it is without a doubt. And you can apply the same to Will Smith.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
At least question it.
I know, it's 100% on the table.
So, anyways, have a good week.
Yes, same to you.
Thanks for watching, all three of you.
Yes, yeah, 3 of you are the lucky winners of the. I don't even know. We'll come up with some prize in the future.
Our admiration.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye.
Bye.